Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us here on the Daily Racing Form YouTube. I am Gino Buccola alongside Mike Beer with producer Bobby helping us out. Mike, hopefully the third time's a charm for this one as we're going to go back out to Penn. We're going to try to run these Penn turf races once again. I think they have been rescheduled 2 different times. Let's talk about the Grade 3 Penn Mile for the Friday race of the day. I will say, Mike, it's a pretty decent group here, led by a couple of horses. Bago, who's very fast early on. Zulu Kingdom, the most accomplished. This is the exact same field that was entered a week ago. You actually looked at this race about a month ago, too. It's changed a little bit since then, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it is a good field, though. Yeah, when I initially looked at it, I thought it was maybe even a more interesting race, if only because at that time, Zulu Kingdom was pointing to a race at Saratoga.
Yep.
During the Belmont Stakes Festival, and he got rained off the turf that day. So now he winds up here, and I think it just makes it that much tougher for some of these other horses who initially had found a really, really good spot to pick up a nice purse.
Yeah, it's probably a softer spot for Zulu Kingdom, but they had to find somewhere to run him right now, right? Because he's ready to run. They don't want to just sit on him for another month or 6 weeks till that next spot would come up. So let's take a look at the pace projector. How do they think this race is going to shape up? I mean, no surprise, Mike. Bago, since the end of last year, has just gotten so good. And what is nice about him, you know what you're going to get. He's really fast. If he gets the trip, if he's able to clear, he's going to run really, really well. His race 2 starts back in the American turf was very good. It's probably just a bit longer than where he wants, but he still had the lead at the top of the stretch.
Hard to argue with this pace projector if you've seen Bago run at all. He's not only really fast, Gino, but they don't even really waste any time playing games with this horse. They just let him roll out of there, and he's not a horse who they try to take a hold of and back down paces. They just kind of let him go as fast as he can for as far as he can. And he's going to be on the lead in here. And it really feels like I'm with you. I thought his American turf actually was pretty good 2 starts back. And it just feels like the key to him might be cutting back to a mile here. Even maybe just makes him even that much more dangerous.
Yeah, because as you pointed out, you can just let him loose, and he's a fast starter. He gets out of the gate and he goes. So they'll be able to use all of him in this spot. Let's meet the field here for the Grade 3 Penn Mile. This one is $400,000 up for grabs, and we start things out with States Rights coming off of a really unlucky trip here, Mike. I mean, this horse was towards the rear early, just had a lot of trouble, started to move, had to shift to the rail, then was about to move in between horses, a hole closed. He got pinned in by the eventual winner. I mean, he just had traffic throughout this whole race.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you just look at him on paper, you're going to see a horse who's lost 3 times in a row as the favorite. But the reality is he should have won that race. I mean, that he was totally trip compromised in there. And I'm not really sure why Jose Ortiz thought it was going to be a good idea to stay in there for the stretch. But it obviously blew up in his face. And that race, I thought he ran well in there. I thought he ran well 2 starts back when he was only second best behind Flying Mohawk. There's something there with this horse, Gino. I do think he's talented, and I do think he has room to improve. And so I like those things about him. I also liked him a whole lot better the first time they drew this race, but it kind of felt like to me they had to all beat Bago going the mile. And I thought, that's a reasonable proposition. Now he's got to beat Bago and he's got to beat Zulu Kingdom. And I don't like that proposition quite as much.
It does seem like those are the 2 most proven, classiest, and then everyone else is kind of in a tier below them if they can compete and kind of step up with the more proven horses. Barbadian Runner just ran on June the 14th, actually. That was in the Delaware Derby, second with the 90 buyer in the Delaware Derby, finishing second that day. So that was an improvement from recent form. Do you think this horse can compete in here?
I mean, based on his 2 turf races, no. I just don't think he can beat these horses. I mean, it does at this stage of the game anyway. It's not like his turf race, the most recent one anyway, either of them actually. It's not like they're terrible, but they're not going to beat this field. And at least at this point, he's just a better dirt horse.
Yep. Pangiotis is a long shot trying the turf for the first time, stretching out. This is one of these local horses that is at Penn. They figure, hey, you know what? We can take a big swing in here, see if we can get a shot in a stakes race. Does this horse have any chance here?
I mean, he's 50 to 1 on the morning line for a reason. I mean, there's just nothing to like about this horse on paper. There's a little bit of pedigree for turf, but I don't see how you bet this horse.
No. Bago, though, is a horse who really should be able to control this race on paper. I mean, he controls almost every race that he's in, Mike, and he doesn't really seem to have a whole bunch of other real pace opposition in here. There's not a lot of others that are like need the lead types that are going to push him. He's pretty classy. I think the cutback to a mile will help. Just got a lot of positives in him, and he may actually be a bettable price in this race with the presence of a horse like Zulu Kingdom.
those are all the things that I liked about him, Gino. I mean, I think the mile is perfect for him. Overall, his turf form is excellent, especially since they really started using his speed. I know the Transylvania 3 starts back, that's a little bit of a disappointing running line there, but it's at least worth noting that. First of all, that was a really good field. He had an outside post. They really had to use him early just to make the lead in there. And I thought he really paid the price for that. We already sort of talked about his American turf a little bit. I thought he ran great in there. And I'm not saying he had any kind of excuse. And, he ran the race that he ran, and he just wasn't good enough to win. I still thought that he ran really, really well in there, and he's a super dangerous horse in here going a mile.
And just watching that race, remember the American turf, if you didn't have him at the top of the lane, you got nervous because he snuck away, and he really was running well in that race. You thought there was a chance he was going to steal that thing. He just gets a little tired late when it's beyond the mile there. We move to Out on Bail. This one was a stakes winner who's going to stretch out beyond 5 furlongs for the first time. The Dam did win going long, 1.70 miles on the dirt. This horse overall has never been worse than third, but I think I need to see this horse just going a little bit longer. Maybe he's one of the horses that's closest to me, Bago, who we were just talking about. I could see him maybe trying to sit behind or trying to put a little pressure on him. That's probably his best chances in here.
I agree. At the end of the day, his turf races are all really good. I know they're all sprints, but they're all really good. He's run well in every one of those races. Now it's just a question of whether he'll stretch out. You already sort of noted his Dam 1 going long, the Tis the Laws will stretch out. So it's not like he doesn't have the pedigree to do this. He's just another one where I wonder if this is ultimately going to be the right spot for them to try it for the first time. Because, again, he was also entered in this race the first time they tried to run it. And he only had to beat me, Bago, that day. Now he's got to beat me, Bago, and Zulu Kingdom. And it just makes it that much tougher.
Cairo Caper was in the Woodhaven most recently behind Dream On. We're going to see him in a minute when we watch the replay of that race. Dream On ends up winning that thing. Cairo Caper, who was second chasing early in the race, ends up fading. It was his first start since October, Mike, in his first start in the new barn. Can you see a reason for improvement here? Can you make a case for this one?
Yeah, I think you could if you really wanted to. He obviously is going to have to improve, maybe not as much as some of the others, but he's going to have to improve if he's going to win here. And the real issue that I have with him, Gino, is at least right now, I just think he's way better sprinting than he is going long. The grade 1 last year, you don't have to be too hard on him for that, the mile up at Woodbine, but he just didn't finish at all in that race after a good trip. And I thought similarly about his Woodhaven last time. I don't like that race anyway. And this horse just, once again, they tried to stretch him out and he did not finish. I think he's better sprinting.
Zulu Kingdom is a grade 1 winner, multiple graded stakes winner. His lone loss overall actually came in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf. He's pretty tough to knock because he's just really tactical. He's got some versatility to him, Mike. He can sit close within striking range of speed horses. So in this spot where he's very much more accomplished than most of these, he's just going to be really tough.
Yeah, that was my takeaway with him too, is just what you were pointing out, that he won't be trip compromised. And so that just makes him double tough in here. You mentioned the Breeders' Cup. I can't say that I loved him as a 2-year-old, Gino, although I thought he ran well in those races. His Breeders' Cup, I think, is deceptively good. I did not really care for the ride and trip he got in that race. And he's come back with 2 even better performances this year. And we were already talking about me, Bago, and the American turf. Yeah, me, Bago ran great in there on a fast pace. It's not like Zulu Kingdom sat last and came and ran the horse down. He kept in range the entire way. He never let me, Bago, get away from him around the final turn. And then he closed him down at the end. He was just way the best in that race, and he's going to be hard to beat right back.
He's super handy. We round things out with Dream On for producer Bobby. We won't be singing this one because I know he's singing it behind the scenes, Mike. He's a stakes winner. He's grade 1 placed. He's a horse who I don't really know if he's improved from early on in his career. You can kind of see that with some of his speed figures too, right? Like he's solid in stakes races, maybe even like listed stakes. Once you get into the graded stakes company, it's probably a little tougher. And I just feel like there's others in here with more upside, but he's fine. Like he usually doesn't run bad races. He's just not a horse that I would want to necessarily bet. I think he'll probably be shorter than I would like to play him at.
I feel the same way about him. I don't want to knock him too much. I just don't really like any of his races, really. And this is the win last time, the Woodhaven at Aqueduct. And listen, he does what he has to do here to get the job done. The trip overall was a really good one. You're going to see this race, Gino, it just comes wide open at the end here. Everybody's got a shot at this thing. It's a blanket finish at the end. I just don't really like this race that much. Then so that set me back looking at some of his other races to try to make a case for him. And I just couldn't find the one that he's run so far that makes me want to bet him in this spot.
So we move to selections in here, Mike. Talk to us. How are you going to stack them up in the Penn Mile?
Listen, I'm not obviously not way against Zulu Kingdom. We already talked about him. I think he's going to be really, really hard to beat in here. The longer I looked at it, I think the only way that he loses is that Bago gets loose on the lead here, and Zulu Kingdom can't run him down. And he might be a fair enough price in this race to take a shot on that proposition. So I'll do it.
We have the same 4 horses, just in a different order. 4, 7, 1, 8 for Mike. I'll go 1, 7, 8, 4. Look for a little bit of value. Maybe States Right can get a better trip here. Unlucky, due for a trip, but we'll definitely need to improve to be able to compete with those top 2, because Bago and Zulu Kingdom are certainly the horses to beat. But the important part is, who are you going to play in the Friday race of the day? Remember, you can get free past performances on the website, drf.com.